Okay, we're going to get started. Hi, everybody. I'm so glad you're here. We're going to kick off the new year with a fresh look at your retirement plans. And there's no better time to start that at the beginning of the year. So we're going to talk about realigning, reflecting, restarting with purpose. And together we'll evaluate what's working, adjust where needed, build a strong foundation for long-term success. Very excited about this content. Some of you may know me. I see some of our clients all the way down in North Carolina. Hello, Sally, Pana. I'm so glad you're finally with us. You've signed up for webinars with us in the past. I'm glad to see you there. And Elise and Robert, it's good to see you as well. I know there'll be other folks that are joining us as it's lunchtime, but we're going to get started. So I'm Kelly Olchak. I am the managing partner of Lindley and Company. We are so proud to be a 100% woman-owned registered investment advisor. We're based in the Bushnells Basin in upstate New York, and we're very pleased to manage the finances for a handful of families in the area. We are fiduciaries, and we are committed to putting our clients' best interests first. I'm also a certified financial planner. I've been so since 2009, and I am passionate about helping people. Sorry, I got this little guy in my way. Helping people turn their financial goals into reality. I'm also going to introduce Chaz Miller, who is our awesome operations manager. She'll be our Vanna White today. She's going to moderate and help us make sure that if you guys have questions via the chat function, then she knows when to tell me to stop talking. I love to talk. But please don't hesitate to chime in because I want to make sure that this is an interactive session. Normally, my partner Becky Gillette would be with us, but she is enjoying Snowmageddon up in Old Forge. And that being said, Becky is our dedicated Chief Compliance Officer. Very few firms our size actually have a full-time Chief Compliance Officer, and she's solely focused on compliance and operations, which we are very fortunate to have Becky's watchful eye, ensuring everything runs smoothly. At Lindley and Company, we've always believed that informing our clients, making them better investors, and educate them will help them in the future for their financial journey. So before we get started, I'm going to have Chaz launch our one survey, which is super quick. So Chaz, can you do that? So that way we'll understand where everybody's at, so we make sure we're touching on important topics.
Launch that, Cal, and I'll just give it a couple minutes.
Hi, Matthew. Thank you for joining us today. We're just doing a very quick poll just to see where everybody's at so we can make sure we touch on important parts. If you feel like it, please let us know what your answers are to our poll. This is great information. Thank you very much, especially around the Secure Act. Just give it a couple more seconds, Chaz, and then we'll be done.
Going to give that like 20 more seconds, Cal. There's a couple folks that are about halfway through and I don't want to cut them off.
It's cool that you can see that. Thank you.
I'm gonna end it now. If you were halfway through or didn't finish and I'm cutting you off, I apologize.
This is super helpful. Chaz, is there any way you can share the results? I always find these things interesting because I think some of these topics are interesting. So you're sharing with me that they indeed are. So thank you. Um, I totally understand the some of the answers to these questions. Getting started is the toughest part, but getting there, once you get the wheels going, it's not as hard as it seems. So awesome. Great. Thank you. Let's get started. So we're going to talk about a couple things that I think are relevant to getting started in the new year. Obviously, the power of the review is really important. Um, Financial plans evolve through your life. I've got folks that are in their 30s and they're thinking about things that, if you're 55, you don't think about anymore. So it is definitely very personal. We've got some really interesting ways to help folks save, no matter how old you are, with the new legislation around the Secure Act. Taxes are shockingly complicated, but with the right strategies, you might be able to minimize your liabilities and maximize your savings. Everybody likes that. But I think I hope actually by the end of this session, we'll have a clear understanding for you on how to reflect your progress, align your goals, and restart with confidence. So here we go. So studies show that having a formal financial plan significantly boosts confidence. In fact, individuals with a structured plan feel 62.5% more assured about their financial outlook compared to those without one. Reflecting on their financial journey, many retirees wish they'd made different choices, maybe saving more, delaying retirement, preparing for better for unforeseen expenses. I know when folks are looking at delaying retirement, some of that works into when should you start taking Social Security and stuff like that. So understanding these common regrets can help us make more informed decisions today, so that maybe you'll have a more comfortable retirement in the future. So unabashedly, I am a planner. So for me, it always starts with the plan. And what you want to do is think about an annual financial review as calibrating your financial GPS. It can answer questions that are super important. And so this process you're looking at is a simplified process for the CFP financial planning process. And it's super simple. Where are you today? Where do you want to be? Can I get there? How do I get there? And how do I stay on track? And that's something that we use throughout all processes that we talk about when we're talking about any kind of planning or investing. So the first step in any review is understanding where you are today. Evaluating how your investments have performed over the past year doesn't necessarily mean you have to make changes, but understanding what you were invested in and maybe they need to be shifted. Reviewing any changes in income or expenses that could affect your financial plan, assessing your tax situation, uncover opportunities for optimization. This clarifies the foundation for making informed decisions and identify areas to strengthen that plan. And here's why it matters. There's a Morningstar study showing that regular portfolio review can add 1.82% in annual returns. And you know what? That doesn't sound like a lot, but year over year, that compounding, it can really uh, boost your long-term goals. So the next thing is, where do you want to be? So you know where you are, where do you want to be? And this means, do you have enough savings? Are you truly on track to reach your retirement goals? This step helps uncover gaps, whether it's adjusting your contributions, reducing expenses, making changes to align with your priorities, whether they're old priorities or new. The impact of addressing gaps early is powerful. Retirees who tackled savings gap ahead of time accumulated 20% more in their portfolios compared to those who waited. So definitely proactive planning does pay off. So can you get there? So I've had clients that come in and say, I want to retire in 3 years. And if you have a targeted retirement age and a general idea of how much you need, the next step really is it realistic? And if it's not, how do we get there? Like what tweaks do we need to make? So assessing your savings progress, are you saving enough to reach your retirement goals? Believe it or not, a review will help you figure that out. Running the numbers, project your future income from savings, pensions, social securities to see if you're aligned with your expected expenses. That will help us identify gaps early. If there's a shortfall, making small adjustments like increasing contribution or adjusting your, timeline of retirement can help you stay on track. So how do you get there? During your review, you'll have insights where you can identify actionable steps to move closer to your goals. There are a couple folks on this webinar that work with us, and they will attest to you don't have to make big moves, but paying attention to these things are important. So rebalancing your portfolio to reflect your updated risk tolerance. As you know, when you're 35 years old, you could afford to take more risk, but when you're 55, you may not need to be as risky. I've seen clients that think they need to take a lot of risk to get where they're going, where they really don't. They just need a good strategy with high quality investments aligned with their goals. So there are other things you can do, like exploring tax efficient strategies, which we'll talk about, like Roth conversion, or capitalizing on credits and deductions in your tax return. Each of these actions provide clarity and momentum, helping you stay on track to get to that vision of retirement. Again, I want everybody to know that this presentation is being recorded, so we're going to cover a lot of information. So don't feel like you can't come back to stuff if we move too fast, but I also want you to feel free to raise your hand and ask questions as I go. So how do you stay on track? Believe it or not, financial reviews are not a one-time event. It's an ongoing process. Life changes, markets change. And so it's essential to have a regular process reviewing what your plan is, what your investments look like to ensure that it evolves as you evolve. By staying proactive and regularly assessing your strategy, you could adjust changes, mitigate risk, find opportunities to keep your financial plan aligned with your goals. Okay, so to make the most of these new opportunities, here are 4 actions that you can take to strengthen your future by reviewing your financial plan. Assessing your savings, investments, income, expenses, tax situation. Looking for areas of opportunity such as insufficient savings or unbalanced investments. At the same time, pinpointing opportunities to reduce taxes, improve performance. Reviewing your risk tolerance to ensure it aligns with your current life events and market conditions. So if you have a big life change, like you won the lottery, uh, you lost a job, you got married. These are life events that may require you to look at, have your, maybe your risk tolerance has changed. So when those things happen, it's time to look. You want to, based on your review, you outline specific steps to guide your gap and take advantage. These things will keep you on track. And it's a consistent thing. It's a process. That means you have to give yourself the opportunity to take time every year to look at your portfolio and monitor your progress. Any questions? Okay, so we've looked at the power of financial review. Now we're going to take a closer look at how your retirement plan evolves over time. And we all know that life isn't static. Neither is your financial journey. As your priorities and circumstances and even world around you changes, that's when you look and make sure that you're staying aligned with your goals. So the next section is about making your retirement plan dynamic, one that grows with you, reflects your dreams, adjusts to life's twists and turns. So while retirement planning is not one-time event and your journey changes, maybe you've when you're young, you are starting to build a strong foundation by savings and paying down debt. But then in mid-career, you're focused on shifts of maximizing retirement contributions, probably paying down tuition, probably paying down the mortgage. As you approach retirement, it becomes more about preserving wealth, managing risk, and preparing for life after work, which is a huge transition. And in retirement, the goals shift to ensuring your savings last. We never want to outlive our money. Understanding these stages help you align your plan and clarify what's coming next. This is a big deal because no two plans are the same. I've had clients that said, well, my friend at work said they did this and that. Well, they don't have your goals. You may have a desire to travel when you retire or spend more time with your family. And I have to share that investing is not a contact sport. It's a process, and it's not about being competitive. It's about aligning your objectives and your investments with your strategy. The key to creating a meaningful retirement plan is defining what the next chapter looks just like for you. Maybe, especially right now, maybe we all want to go to someplace warm in the winter, or helping fund your grandchild's education, maybe even starting your own business after you retire. Whatever it is, your financial plan should reflect and support those goals. While setting the big picture retirement goals, it's important to break down these goals. During the survey, I saw a couple people say that, getting started is overwhelming. So what we like to do is especially when you're going, where am I today and where do you want to be? Once you figure out where you want to be, we break those into smaller, actionable milestones. And that's the key to staying motivated. For example, instead of focusing solely on a final savings number for retirement, sometimes setting a milestone like increasing your retirement contributions by 1 to 2% a year, or paying off higher interest debt, and even building an emergency fund, which we like to call the uh-oh fund. That might help for the unexpected, like health expenses you didn't think were going to be an issue. But these smaller, tangible steps help you track your progress and provide a sense of accomplishment. It is a big deal to start building a financial plan. We're pretty good at it. We've helped folks build and achieve these milestones, and baby steps are key. How do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. Okay, so sometimes life plans change. Like we mentioned, a career transition or retirement, unexpected health issues. Your financial plan needs to evolve around this. And, as an example, when you change a job, you might consider rolling your 401k into the new 401k or into an IRA to keep things organized so you can find things easier. We've got clients that have 401ks all over the place. Some of them forget where they are, okay? So that's important to kind of consider, sort of getting organized. Then there are the unexpected medical expenses. We've got some folks that have just found out that they have health issues, but they did have a plan. So we're not happy that this person is not well, but because he did the planning, his family now has a process and knows that they do have emergency funds. So regularly revisiting and updating your plan really ensures that your goals are aligned, no matter what life throws at you. And the thing is flexibility is key. Okay, so this slide is definitely for Kelly because I have a saying that goes, when you're perfect, it's time to die. However, I'm a hypocrite because I need everything to be perfect. But your retirement planning is not about perfection. It's about consistent progress over time. Even small, steady steps can lead to big results. So automating your savings. We help folks manage their money in buckets. So there's an uh-oh bucket for, 3 to 6 months and emergency funds. There's an uh-oh bucket to set aside money for the next new car. There's an uh-oh bucket for, or not uh-oh bucket, there's a vacation bucket for going away once a year. But there's no such thing as perfect. The key is to build momentum, stay proactive, and focus on progress. Retirement planning is a journey. So to make the most out of these opportunities, here are 5 actions that you can take to strengthen your financial future. So envision what your retirement looks like. I literally have people just write down the 3 top priorities on what they think is important this year, whether it's travel or family time, but write them down so you can look at them. Instead of focusing solely on retirement savings as a big goal, focus on smaller milestones. As I mentioned, increasing your retirement savings by 1 to 2% a year. I promise you, you will not feel that in your paycheck. It's so little, but if you do a little bit by a little bit by a little bit every year, that will help you. Eliminating debt. We're super good on helping people figure out how to reduce their debt as a strategy with those buckets. Habits. Habits are important. So as life changes, if you are already in the process of these types of reviews, then you're going to add to your success by building these little baby steps and processes, not just big goals. And then as you move through life stages and your risk tolerance changes, we have to remember that planning for the unexpected, while we don't like that to ever happen to us, but if you plan for it, it will definitely dampen the blow. And then, of course, my favorite, nothing's perfect, so progress is more important than perfection. Okay, so this is a biggie. There's new legislation. So part of the strong retirement strategy isn't just about what you do, it's also about taking advantage of new opportunities. And this is where the Secure Act 2.0 comes in. So this legislation brings some important updates that can help you save more, access your retirement funds more strategically, and add flexibility to your financial plan. So I know we're about to cover a lot of detail. I don't want anybody to worry about missing stuff. There is a handout at the end of this presentation called What's Important Should I Consider Regarding Changes with the Secure Act 2.0. So let's look at the biggest impacts I think are important to retirement strategies. Supercharge catch-up contributions. So if you're over 50 years old, you're allowed to put more in your 401k. This new legislation supercharges that. So starting this year, individuals age 60 to 63 can contribute even more to their retirement savings, helping them maximize savings. And this is a big deal. So for 401k plans, this new supercharged contribution will be $11,250 or 150% of the standard $7,500 catch up, whichever is greater. And here is the biggest part that I love about it. It's indexed for inflation. That's never happened. These catch-ups have been static. So I'm really excited about the cost of living adjustment with this new part of the legislation. A major shift under Secure 2.0 is the ability for employers to match the contribution that you might make in a Roth part of your retirement account. So this applies if you have a 401k, if you have a simple IRA, you decide to contribute to the Roth side of your retirement account, your employer can add their contribution to the Roth side of your retirement account. This means your matching contribution can grow tax-free, providing that you're providing a significant advantage for long-term savings. Now remember, on this part, throughout this presentation, I'm not giving you tax advice. I'm just providing ideas that you can take back to your tax preparer. Okay, so you may know or may not know that when you retire and you're a certain age, the government requires you to take a required minimum distribution. One of the biggest shifts under the Secure 2.0 is the adjustment in age for the required minimum distribution, allowing retirees to keep their savings invested for longer before being made to take their withdrawals. So here's what's changing. As of 2023, the RMD age, that's required minimum distribution, increased from 72 to 73. So that gave retirees an extra year before they had to start taking money out. Starting in 2033, the RMD age will increase to 75, offering even more flexibility for those of us that are younger. Why does this matter? So you'll have more time for tax-deferred growth, uh, boosting retirement savings. You'll have better control over withdrawals for smarter tax planning, and we'll get to that in a second. And you'll have flexibility to delay RMDs if you have other sources of income. These changes can give retirees more flexibility and control, which, I don't like anybody telling me what to do with my money. So to make the most out of these new opportunities, here are 4 actions you can take to strengthen your retirement future by benefiting with the Secure 2.0 changes. So we covered changing or increasing, supercharging your catch-up contributions that start in 2025. Employers can now match contributions directly into the Roth portion of your employer-sponsored plans. That's a 401k, a 403b, a simple IRA. What that means is they'll be able to match those funds growth tax-free. You want to check to make sure your employer has the option, because not every retirement plan may have this, but if they do, I think it's a good idea to look into it. We just touched on this, but with RMDs now pushing to, from in 2023 pushing to 73, for those of us that are a little younger, now your RMDs start when you're 75. And that will allow you to have your dollars grow tax deferred for longer. And we're going to talk a little bit about considering strategic Roth conversions because of this new difference in age when you have to take money out. Okay, taxes. So let's shift to another critical piece in tax planning or retirement strategies, and that's tax planning. We all love paying taxes, I'm sure, but it does take a big bite out of our retirement income if you're not careful. But with the right strategies, you can keep more of what you worked for so hard to save. So the good news, tax planning doesn't have to be complicated. In this section, we're going to break down a couple simple, actionable steps to minimize, I should say, your tax burden. So not all retirement income is taxed the same way, and understanding these differences is key to managing your tax burden effectively. So let's break down some of the common sources of retirement income and how they are taxed. So Social Security. Social Security is partially taxable. Depending on your income, it can be taxed 0%, 50%, or 85%. It just depends on what your other income is. The amount taxed is based on something called provisional income, which includes your adjusted gross income that you'll find on your tax return, non-taxable interest. So that could be from municipal bonds, and half of your Social Security benefit. Strategic withdrawals from tax-free accounts can help reduce the portion of benefits that are taxable. Next, traditional IRAs, 401ks, 403bs, simple IRAs, SEP IRAs, those are fully taxable. Distributions from these accounts are taxed as ordinary income. Since the dollars you put in were pre-tax, they've never been taxed before, every dollar you withdraw is taxable at retirement. So this is why planning when and how you make withdrawals can help manage that tax bracket. Pensions. And yes, There are people out there that still have pensions. Typically, they are fully taxable. However, we've got clients that are teachers and their pensions are not taxed in New York State as long as they live in New York State. But generally speaking, most pension payments are taxable as ordinary income, just like your paycheck. The tax rate depends on your total income in retirement. So the income you get from an IRA distribution or 403B distribution, plus your pension will increase your taxes. So, and like I said, some states don't tax pensions, but it's worthwhile to see how each state taxes pensions. I did mention teachers, but we also have folks that have worked for New York State, and so their pensions are not taxable in New York State either. Income from investments. These are taxed differently based on type, okay? So dividends and interest from a taxable brokerage account are taxed in the year they are earned. So if you get dividends from, maybe you own Exxon, those are taxed in the year you earn them, even if you reinvest those dividends, okay? Long-term capital gains for investment hold over a year and a day are taxed at a lower rate, while short-term gains are taxed as ordinary income. What's short-term gain? Anything that's owned less than a year. So I like to say long-term capital gains are a year and a day, just to make sure we're over the 1 year mark. Tax-efficient investing strategies can help minimize the impact of investment income on your overall tax situations. Okay, now let's talk about tax-free income. So withdrawals from your Roth IRA or your Roth 401k allow for tax withdrawals in retirement as long as you meet the 5-year rule and are over 59 and a half. What that really means is when you put money in the Roth, those dollars have already been taxed in the traditional Roth. We're not talking about the 401k. But if you had to take money out of your Roth that you put in, that's not going to be taxable. The growth is taxable. So that's the contribution. Since contributions were made after tax dollars, both your contribution and investment growth are withdrawn tax-free when you're over 59 and a half. Now, the other thing to know is Roth 401ks do have a required minimum distribution, but you can roll the Roth 401k out and put them in a Roth IRA to avoid forced withdrawals. Okay, tax-free income at the federal level. So interest earned on municipal bonds or munis is exempt from federal income tax, making them a great option. So even if you live out in New York, but you have a bond that was issued in Texas, the income generated from that bond is federally tax-free. It would be taxed in New York. However, if you had a New York State bond, municipal bond, now it's not taxed at the federal level and it's not taxed at the state level. So that's pretty cool. Now, the thing to know about is municipal bonds tend to have lower yields than taxable bonds. So everybody's different. And when you look at muni bonds, you want to consider what is appropriate for you, because if you are in a very low tax bracket, municipal bonds might not be a good fit for you. HSAs, I like to say that, so these are called health savings accounts, and they are triple tax advantage. They are the only account that offers this. So contributions are tax deductible. They lower your income tax in the year that you made them. Growth is tax free, so you pay no taxes on the investable gains. And withdrawals for qualified medical expenses are tax free, both now, before retirement, and after retirement. Now, here's a really neat thing. A hidden retirement healthcare fund. After 65, you can withdraw your HSA funds for any purpose without penalty. So you probably save that for medical expenses, but if you needed cash and you're over 65, that distribution is tax-free. Now, unlike FSAs, flexible spending accounts, HSAs do not have the use it or lose it. So they roll on indefinitely and can be invested for long-term growth. Okay, so now I want to clear a couple things up because we're going to move on to another topic, and we've talked about taxable income, but now we're talking about taxable accounts, and they're not the same thing. So I just wanted to quickly make sure that we're not messing things up. Understanding the difference is key to making smart decisions. So here we go real quick. Taxable income, think of it as how your money is taxed. Okay, so taxable income, the Social Security and pension and 401k and IRA withdrawals. Taxable accounts, I want you to think of where your money is held. Okay, so brokerage accounts, you put money that's already been taxed in a brokerage account. So that contribution's already been taxed. Any growth on the gains are taxed, on the dividends, on interest, those are taxed. Understanding the difference is very important. So anybody have questions on that before we move forward? Okay. So we're going to talk about how to withdraw your money in retirement, and that can have a huge impact on how much you keep versus how much you pay in taxes. A tax-efficient withdrawal strategy helps stretch your savings further by minimizing taxes you pay over time. A good rule of thumb is to withdraw in a specific sequence, starting with taxable accounts, then tax deferred, and finally tax-free. So let's break that down. Okay, starting with taxable accounts. Why start here? Well, the money has already been taxed in your brokerage accounts or your savings account or that CD. They've already been taxed, so withdrawals from these will have a lower impact on taxes. Only capital gains and dividends are taxed. And they're taxed if taken out correctly, meaning long-term capital gains, often a lower than ordinary income. So if you needed $50,000 in retirement income, pulling from a brokerage account with long-term capital gains would mean a lower tax bill than taking the same amount out of your IRA. Next. Then you tap into tax-deferred accounts. These are your traditional IRAs that haven't been, these are pre-tax dollars, okay? So traditional IRAs, your 401ks, your pensions. Why withdrawal here second? Withdrawals are taxed at ordinary income. So delaying these allow taxable accounts to work in your favor first. So a strategic benefit is spreading out withdrawals over time can prevent large jumps in your tax bracket when your RMD kicks in. So I'm kind of talking out of two sides of my face. So the reason I'm saying this is if you have a very large 401k, I've seen clients who are very surprised when they have to take their RMDs because their taxes are so much higher because they didn't start taking out of the IRA because they didn't need to. They could have used their lower earning income years to their benefit. So once your taxable accounts are depleted, strategic, gosh, I wish I could speak today, sorry. Strategic withdrawals from those tax deferred accounts will help minimize your tax impact. And then lastly, use tax withdrawals last because they are completely tax-free. So the strategic benefit here is if you have a larger expense, meaning you need a new car, you've got your RMDs coming out and you don't want to bump yourself into a new tax bracket, but you need a new vehicle, using that tax-free withdrawal will help mitigate any higher income tax later. Okay, so this is a biggie also, Roth conversions, and you will be getting sort of a helpful handout about this topic. And like I said, this is being recorded, so you could always come back to it. But another way to reduce your taxes over time is to do Roth conversions. They can be a powerful tool, but they're not fit for everyone. And so I really encourage you to coordinate the strategy with your tax preparer. Converting a portion of your tax deferred savings, your IRA, your 401k, into a Roth allows for tax-free growth and withdrawal in the future. But it comes with important considerations. Hang on a second. Timing matters. So converting during lower income years can help mitigate tax impact. It does also reduce your future required minimum distributions. Since Roth IRAs, not 401k Roths, but Roth IRAs have no required minimum distribution, conversion can help you manage your taxes over a long period of time. It does also allow for tax flexibility. But like I said, before making this decision, it's crucial for you to talk to your tax preparer because it's not best for everyone. Talked a little bit about your required minimum distributions. These withdrawals are taxable and can push you into a tax bracket. So planning early, starting to take them earlier, even if you don't need them, will allow you to spread taxes over your life. I believe that our job, one of our biggest challenges for our clients is taxes, and our job as planners is to help you pay the lowest amount of tax, not this year, but over a lifetime. Okay, here's some actionable steps that you can take to understanding simplified tax planning strategies. So review your current income sources and their tax implications. Working with a financial advisor to create withdrawal strategies. What that means is we'll create an idea of what might happen, and then we test it with your tax preparer. Consider those Roth conversions during low income years, and staying informed about tax changes in tax law is so important. Okay, so let's review. We covered a lot. I would really like to see if anybody has any questions. I'm surprised I got done with all this information in 45 minutes, so I'm hoping I didn't go too fast. We have 67 slides at this point, and I was worried that we wouldn't get through it in an hour. Are there any questions at all? Is there anything that I can maybe go over in a deeper manner? We have a couple minutes.
You do have a question, Cal.
I see it.
I'll
Thank you,
let you
Matthew.
read it, so because you
Yeah,
can actually talk.
knowing, Chaz, that you're just getting over laryngitis, that's probably a good idea. So Matt asked, what is the typical cost range of a high quality review and how often should it be conducted? Annually, quarterly, time horizon and goals. Okay, so we are a fee only advisory firm, but I do offer uh, financial planning only. And those uh, plans are based on what you're trying to solve for. So sometimes I'm an advisor that can't give great answers because I don't know enough information. But what I like to do in those engagements is build the plan and then review them quarterly at that flat rate. Now, if we manage your assets, that's included in how we manage investments. And every client's wishes are different because I've got some clients who I meet with more than 4 times a year because they've got a big thing coming up. Maybe mom and dad are not well and they need help organizing financials for them, and it's literally we've met 6 or 7 times to get that organized. Um, if you've got a traditional situation where you're getting close to retirement, quarterly is really good because there's a lot of moving parts. There's insurance questions and we don't sell uh, homeowners insurance, but reviewing that's important and how it works into your plan and long-term care and all that stuff. So if you would like to have a quick call with me, believe me, there are no strings attached, Matthew. I can get deeper into that conversation. Anyone else? So as I promised, we've got some helpful handouts here. And these are all on our website, but these are the four that I thought were really important. Each one of these will lead you to a checklist that'll give you ideas on things, especially around the Roth conversion and penalties. And understand there's this one, understanding the impact of Secure Act. Chance, can you see my pointer?
Yes.
Okay. Um, there are new tax numbers in this one here, but these will help kind of maybe refresh or help you understand some of the topics that we talked about. And that's all I have, guys. I'm really happy you guys joined us. I would love to hear feedback on what we could be doing better, what we should be covering. At the end of our workshop, if you there's a survey, it's very short. It's like will take you 2 minutes. I just want to know if there are topics we should be covering. See, I don't know what it's like to be a client anymore, so anything you could share with us will be super helpful. And with that, I'm grateful for your time and thank you for the question, Matthew. And Pandit, like I said earlier, I'm great. It's great to have you with us. And Elise and Paul and Robert, thanks for joining us, you guys.